So my name is Chris, and I want to help families in Malawi, Africa, find or have financial stability. Now, the whole reason for me even pursuing this goal in the first place is because I have a really good friend named Joseph who lives in Malawi. Now, I met Joseph in South Africa when I was serving a church mission, and he lives in a small little township in South Africa, a very dangerous area actually. And now the reason why Joseph is not with his family in Malawi right now, but instead is in South Africa, is for financial opportunity. And that's what you see a lot of times in South Africa, is that these people will come from very, very impoverished countries like Malawi, and they'll travel down to South Africa where there's more economic opportunity, and they'll make it a goal for themselves to try to make some kind of financial stability in that country so that they can send money back home to their families in their countries of origin, such as Malawi. And Joseph's a very good friend of mine. He would always give us food, always cook for us. He was the nicest person in the world. And Joseph did not have any money, and he's working maybe 2 or 3 times a week for the US equivalent of maybe $25, $30 a week to live off of. I mean, he's living off of nothing, and he was still very considerate towards giving us food or giving us anything we needed, or even if we wanted something, he would have given it to us. And we'd always try to tell him no, and he would insist and always give to us anyway. So we would sometimes bring food to him as well to try to make things right. And now the whole purpose for me talking about Joseph is that I feel it necessary to give back to him and his family. So this last summer, me and 3 friends had an opportunity to travel to Malawi. So we all started in different locations. I was in California, my 2 friends were in Salt Lake City, and we all flew to New York, and that's where we ended up meeting up with each other. And then from New York, we flew to Nairobi, Kenya, caught a connection flight that flew us into Malawi. Joseph had bought a bus ticket to take him from Cape Town all the way up to Malawi. Now this bus ticket cost him just over $100. You figure he's making 25, 30, on a good week, maybe 35, $40 a week. He has to pay for his rent, he has to pay for food, and then he sends money home to his family. So making a sacrifice in order to travel up to Malawi on a holiday to meet up with me and my friends. When we were in Malawi, we toured the entire country with him. And while touring the country, we bought a little rental car and we named her Betsy. We took Betsy on some of the craziest roads anybody could ever imagine. Roads that we would never take Betsy on ever again. A lot of the roads in Malawi, they have potholes in them, or a lot of them are dirt roads, and a lot of them don't have any street lighting on them. So when you combine all 3 of those and you're driving at night, you can't see the road. There's potholes everywhere and patches of dirt everywhere. That car is going to take a beating. But we toured this entire country, or at least the northern half of it. And we drove all the way up until about the national park. And then in the national park, it became all dirt roads, and the roads required a larger vehicle or a vehicle with a 4-wheel drive. And we were in this small little car named Betsy that looked like a Toyota Corolla. And we just decided to drive on these dirt roads. And eventually we made our way all the way to Joseph's parents' house in the most unoptimal roads you could ever want to drive on. We made the trip all the way there to a little city called Ntalire. But once you get to these little cities, you see all these people who live in these villages together, and you start to understand that these people live far below the poverty line. They have no income, and maybe the government will send them a tiny bit of money. They live off of nothing in Malawi. And when you consider that they live off of nothing, they still find a way to make life happen. They build these little houses out of bricks that they have. They try to seal it with a form of concrete, of mud mixed with water. They have a traditional way of breaking up corn so they can make flour. They keep pigs in a stall, and usually they'll have just a little section of land. When they live off of nothing, they get their water out of a pump, an underground pump, and this water is not safe for drinking, but the people there, they pump the water out and then they carry it back to their villages, and that's what they live off of for drinking water. These people are undeserving of this kind of lifestyle, and as a result, I kind of have felt this initiative that I want to give back to Joseph and his family. And this initiative is going to take me a little further than just Joseph and his family. I want to apply it to as many families as I'm able to in Malawi. But my idea, I've called it a comprehensive plan for Malawi. The goal of this plan is to bring financial stability to families in Malawi. I have 3 parts to it that I want to include. The first part is that I want to give families 5 acres of land. Land in Malawi is not very expensive. The second part of it is that I want to provide families with two cattle, a cow and a bull. The reason for this is cows are very expensive items in Malawi. If you have cows, that is a huge sign of wealth in the country. Now, cows are an economic investment at the same time. And now the third part of this goal is I also want to provide chickens. For chickens, I want to provide 25 of these chickens to the people living in Malawi. What I want to do is I want to get in contact with my friend Joseph. I want to get back in contact with his family, and I want to ask them how much would be suitable for their family to make them more economically prominent in the area they already live. Because being economically stable also provides freedom to these families to where they can travel, they can send their kids off to school. There's opportunity for them to get out of this impoverished state and actually begin to live a life that they never thought they'd be able to live before. The goal of this project is to bring financial stability to families in Africa and Malawi. For this last part of the video, I'm just going to lay out my plan a little bit. I'm not going to say what I'm going to do week by week, but I do have a 4-week plan. So if you pause the video, you can look at it. Essentially, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be contacting various nonprofit organizations that match what I'm trying to do. I'm going to ask them if I can work underneath their name so that I don't have to establish my own nonprofit, which is very complicated and very difficult, and I can hit the ground running pretty quickly. As soon as I'm able to start getting this organized, I want to put together a team of directors with me because for me, I can't do this on my own. I don't think that working solo or by myself is a very good use of my time. I want to have as many good quality people who share the same vision as me working with me. So I'm going to put together this board of directors while I'm moving forward. On top of this, once I get my name established under one of these nonprofits, I'm going to begin petitioning companies, big companies, in the same exact way: letters, phone calls, emails, in person visits, asking them for donations, laying out my plan through my charter, and moving forward with them. Along with my charter, I'm going to attach it in the description of this video so that if anybody wants to look at it, you're able to. I'm still going to make edits to this charter, so this isn't the final version, but I think it's a very good charter and it's something that I'm going to continue working on developing. And through this process, hopefully in the next 4 weeks, I can have a very solid foundation that I can start building off of. So if you want to follow this journey, feel free to continue watching these videos. I'm hoping I can do them weekly, or if not, every 2 weeks. So subscribe, like the video. I don't know, everybody says this, so I feel like I need to say it too, but this is more of a way for me to stay motivated in the task that I want to accomplish, which is helping out my friend Joseph and his family. And if it can grow big enough, I'd like to help out as many people as possible in Malawi. Smaller donations, bigger donations. I want to make sure every one of them fits in the category to help a family. And I'm going to lay that out better in my charter as I move forward. So, as far as everything's concerned, this is my plan, and I really do like this idea.